What's good, Jackson Kruger sports fans? It's your boy Deb back with another video. And to get all these playoff previews in before the playoffs actually start, we might as well just get into another one right now. So today's video, we're going to have the number 3 seed versus the number 6 seed in the Eastern Conference, which is the Boston Celtics versus the Philadelphia 76ers. And in the regular season matchup against these two teams, the 76ers won 3 out of the 4 games. The 76ers won on October 23rd, 107-93. On December 12th, the 76ers won 115-109. Embiid had 38 points in that game. January 9th, the 76ers won 109-98. And then on February 1st, the 76ers lost their first game against the Celtics in the season, where they lost 116-95. And in that game, Embiid only shot 1 for 11. And with Ben Simmons' injury, that's the only reason why I keep telling you Embiid's stats in these games, because he's going to have to show out just to get a few dubs for the 76ers in this series. Now let's just get into the starting lineups for both teams, and we'll start with the 76ers. They come out with Shake Milton at point guard. He averages 9 points, 2 assists, and 2 rebounds. This is the spot that Ben Simmons was in, that he's going to have to come in and try to control the game for the 76ers and play defense against Kemba. And at the 2 guard, they have Josh Richardson, who averages 14 points, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds. I only see that number going up in this playoffs without Ben Simmons in the game, taking a lot of shots from him. And then at the small forward spot, they have Tobias Harris, who averages 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. A really good three-point shooter, plays defense, can create his own shot, a nice player. At the 4 spot, the 76ers have Al Horford, who averages 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. And everyone always says this about Al Horford. He plays better in the playoffs. He's a defensive player. He's been through things. He can score in the post. He can score from the three-point line. He's a playmaker. And like I said, he's a really good defensive player, a rim protector for them. And then that brings us to the big man for the 76ers. The key ingredient for the 76ers to have a chance at winning a couple of games in this series, in Joel Embiid. He averages 23 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 assists. And he's going to be going up against Daniel Theis this series. So I expect him to keep giving him buckets. Just keep giving the ball to Joel Embiid so he can go to work against Daniel Theis. Even though I expect a lot of relentless double teams from the Boston Celtics, I still think Joel will be able to do something in this matchup. Now let's get to the Boston side of the starting lineups. They come out with Kemba Walker, the All-Star, who averages 20 points and 5 assists. Jaylen Brown at the 2 spot, who just keeps getting better daily. I didn't expect him to be this good going into his 3rd year or his 4th year. And then that brings us to the second All-Star on the Boston Celtics, and Jason Tatum. He's a 23-point game a night scorer. He's shown this league that he can be a top 10 player in the last few years in the playoffs when he's given an opportunity. A mid-range king, a knockdown shooter from deep, and then has the body to go to the paint and do what he wants down there. That brings us to their power forward, who's a former All-Star, and Gordon Hayward, who I really love. It's just after his knee injury, it's been an uphill battle for him. He averages 17 points this year and 6 rebounds, and he's really not a power forward, but the Boston space and pace philosophy on offense really allows him to dominate in this position at the 4 spot. And then they round it out at the 5 spot with Daniel Theis, who's 6'8". He's a small big man, but he averages 9 points and 6 rebounds. And every game he seems to find a way to get the opposing big man in foul trouble. Now, like I said, Daniel Theis is going to have to guard Joel Embiid, and I expect a lot of double teams by the Boston Celtics to slow down Joel. But I've seen lately this year that Joel is getting better at passing out of double teams, especially without Ben Simmons on the floor. Joel was averaging 30 points and 14 rebounds in the 4 games before his ankle and his foot injury in the bubble. So in this playoff series, we need to see that same player out of Joel Embiid, that 30 points and 14 rebounds a night type of dude. And Ben Simmons wasn't just an offensive player for the 76ers. He was one of their better defensive perimeter players that was going to have to guard Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, or even maybe switch out on Kemba Walker. Now, without Ben Simmons, they're going to have a lot more faith in Shake. They're going to have a lot more faith in Thibault, Glenn Robertson, Josh Richardson, and then Tobias Harris to guard those perimeter players. Now, let's just go on to the benches of both teams, and we'll start with the we'll start with the Celtics bench. And the first player off the Celtics bench is Marcus Smart, who's a gnat on defense that you just can't get rid of. I would say he's probably the best defensive guard in the league that we have today. After that, they have Enes Kanter, who averages 8 points and 7 rebounds. Very skilled offensive big man. If Enes Kanter and Daniel Tice seem to be struggling against Joel Embiid, I could actually see Taco Fall, the 7'5" beast down low. He averaged 3 points and 3 rebounds this year. And then Grant Williams as well off the Celtics bench, who averages 3 points and 2 rebounds, is a super athletic guard/wing that can hustle on defense and fly above the rim. And then the last player off the Celtics bench is Brad Wanamaker, who I really like. He's a journeyman in this league. He averages 7 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. And then now let's get to the 76ers bench, where their best player on the bench is Alex Burks, who got traded from, I don't know where he got traded from, but I know he's really a journeyman as well. But in the few games that he's played for the 76ers, he's been really good, especially in the bubble. I think he's shooting like 58% while in the bubble, averaging 14 points. And then after that, their second best player on their bench is probably Mike Scott, who's a big that can space the floor, averages 6 points, 3 rebounds. Nothing too special. He's a journeyman as well. And like we mentioned earlier, they have Thibault, they have Glenn Robertson, and those players are really just more defensive players that you would just hope that they can make their open shots once they get them. Now let's go down to the head coaches of both teams. So the 76ers head coach is Brett Brown, who everyone seems to hate, and I can see why. He's had 2 superstars on his team, and they really haven't been able to do anything much. So this is his year to show that he's actually worth being the head coach of this star-studded team. And his playoff record is average. He's 12-10 in the playoffs. With the 76ers, or not with the 76ers, with the Celtics, who have a way better coach in Brad Stevens, his playoff record isn't all that. It's 27-29. But we all can tell who's the better coach and who deserves the spot of being the better coach of the 2 coaches. Now, I have the Celtics winning this series 4-1 in a gentleman's sweep, and it's really because of these 3 or 4 things. Boston has way better shooters on their team. They have a deeper roster on their team, and they have the better coach of the 2. Also, they've been playing they've been playing better than the 76ers since the return of NBA play. The Celtics are 5-3, while the 76ers are 3-4. Now, for the 76ers to win this series, they're going to have to dominate in the paint. They're going to have Al Horford and Joel Embiid get their points from, from 35 combined to probably 40, 45 to give themselves a chance. And with the Celtics going small and Daniel Tice at their big man at 6'8", and Gordon Hayward at 6'7", 6'9", or 6'7", 6'8" as well at the power forward spot, we need Al Horford and Joel Embiid to go crazy down low in the paint, if we're just being completely honest. Tobias Harris is going to have that tough task of guarding Jason Tatum, and we need to see if Tobias Harris is worth that max contract that he signed a few years ago. Now, the last player and the most important player for the 76ers to win games in this series is really going to be Josh Richardson. If he can get his 14 points up to 20 points, which he's been doing in the bubble since Ben Simmons has been gone, this series can be a lot closer than many people think. Now, if you think I'm completely wrong and you think the 76ers are going to win this series, go ahead down in the comments and let me know what you think they'll do to win this series. Let me know if you think I'm wrong in the series 4-1, if you think the 76ers can win a few more games or even win the series. Let me know who you think to win the NBA Finals as well. While you're down there, go ahead and subscribe to my boy Jackson's channel. Hit that sub to my channel at Break It Down Dev. I want to thank you for watching my video, and go bless the world today.